Hi guys, welcome back. So admittedly, I haven't been that great about doing home bar basics episodes, and I really wanted to get a couple of them shot for you guys so that you guys can be really successful at knocking out the cocktails to the specs that you see on the Educated Barfly, and so that I can rest assured that you guys are doing the drinks and getting them to the quality I want you to get them to. So today, for our second home bar basis episodes, because you will, I think by now, have seen at least one, we're going to focus on the four standard syrups that you're going to use, which is simple syrup, raspberry syrup, I'm going to switch these in order though, honey syrup, and ginger syrup. These syrups are basically used for almost every single classic cocktail, a lot of modern classic cocktails, and when you're creating your own cocktails, you're going to want to use them too. So let's get into it. Let's start with simple syrup. Simple syrup is just the marriage of a 1-to-1 ratio of sugar and hot water. You use hot water because you want to let that sugar dissolve and melt properly and really combine into the water and make a syrup. A 1-to-1 ratio is going to give you the standard syrup, although some drink recipes will ask for a rich simple syrup, in which you're going to want to use a 2-to-1 ratio. And we're talking about ratios so that you can, make them cups or gallons or tons, whatever you want to do. It's just a 1-to-1 ratio. You want to use processed sugar and not turbinado sugar or demerara sugar, because processed sugar has a very neutral sweet taste, and that's what you want to use when you are balancing out citrus for certain cocktails. If you use turbinado sugar or if you use demerara sugar, we do make syrups out of those, and they do have a very much different flavor profile because of the way that the sugar is processed. So you want to make sure that you use the processed sugar, even though it's not quote unquote healthy. But then again, we're making cocktails with alcohol, so we should want to have our fresh ingredients because they taste good, but we're not necessarily, doing something that's super, super, super healthy at the moment. So literally the way that you make it is you just put 1 cup of sugar and 1 cup of hot water, and you mix it together until the sugar dissolves, and then you let it sit until it's cool. You can either let it sit outside of the fridge or you can put it inside of the fridge. If you want, there is a whole school of thought, and I don't do this personally, but there is a whole school of thought on doing everything by weight because it's more accurate. I don't think you really need that type of accuracy in here. There's a bee in my set. That's okay. The bee's not going to bother me. So I don't think you really need that type of accuracy, but if you want that type of accuracy, I will say this. It is 340 grams. That equals 1 cup. That's your measurement. So you can figure that out between the volume of water and then the grams, and then you're also going to need a scale. So that's simple syrup. Honey syrup is a little bit more simple. It's a 3-to-1 ratio. And what you're going to do there is you're going to mix 3 cups of clover or wildflower honey and hot water. Now, there are a lot of other honeys out there like mango honey, and you can really use your discretion as to what kind of honey you want to use. I use clover honey because it's the most, honey tasting honey. And the reason why you want to make a simple syrup out of it as opposed to just putting honey into your cocktails is that honey is very viscous, which means that it's very sticky and gooey. And when you put that viscous liquid onto ice, it actually petrifies and it doesn't combine. So what you want to do is add a little hot water to mix it in. And you have to use hot water. You don't have to use hot water, but if you don't use hot water, you're going to be stirring to combine it for 45 minutes. What you do is I like to take boiling water and throw it in 3-to-1. Sometimes if I'm just in a pinch, I won't do it. I will literally just put this much honey and this much hot water. That looks to be about 3-to-1. And just as long as you get kind of a more watery but still syrupy consistency, then you've done it right. The next one that we have is raspberry syrup, which you're not going to find in too many cocktails, but there are quite a few good ones like the Clover Club and the 1934 Cosmo that utilize this syrup. This syrup is the base of the syrup is simple syrup. So basically what we do is I don't even know what the ratio would be between raspberries, maybe 3-to-1. What I do to make it is I take a mason jar, I fill it, about 3/4 of the way to the top with simple syrup, and then I take one little pint of raspberries. I crush them up a little bit to expose the insides, and I throw it inside the syrup, and then I cap it and put it in the fridge for 24 hours. And why you do that is because the sugar, when you break up the raspberries, the sugar is going to get in there and start to macerate and pull all of the liquid, all of the juice out of the raspberry, and it's going to start to infuse the syrup with raspberry flavor. Then after that, you're going to get a bigger vessel like this, or like this, or something, and you're going to take a fine mesh strainer, and you're going to strain all of the liquid through the fine mesh strainer. You're going to catch the raspberries, and then you'll take a muddler or your fingers, and you're going to mash the strawberries through the fine strainer, and then you're going to toss out the biological ingredients, and then you're going to double strain. You're going to again take it and strain out the seeds, or you can use 2 layers of cheesecloth to strain out all the seeds and biological material. And basically what you should have at the end of that process is this. The last syrup that we're going to do today is ginger syrup, and this is really, there are some pretty darn good cocktails to make with that syrup, and you're really going to want to use it. The thing about ginger syrup is it's a little bit hard to make. You need to do your research and make sure that you get a juicer that can juice ginger. If you get one of those elongated juicers that are used for wheatgrass, you can actually juice the ginger with the skin on. But if you use something like a Breville or like an All-Clad or something, then you're going to have to peel the ginger with a knife, which is a little bit of a pain, but I tell you that it is totally worth it. My ginger syrup is a 3-to-1 ratio. Some people say 2-to-1 ratio is fine. I like it to be really gingery and spicy. And basically what you do is you take, once you've juiced your ginger, you take 2 or 3 cups of ginger juice, and then you throw 1 cup of sugar into it. And that's how you make it. That's it. And then you stir it to combine it and make sure that it is combined properly, and put it all in the fridge. These two last about a month in the fridge. This one lasts about 3 weeks, and this one lasts about 3 weeks. You can tell that this one is starting to go bad because it will start to ferment, and it will actually get carbonated because it's fermenting. So that's my whole spiel on syrups. I will say this. I thought with myself about this episode and how to do it properly, and I didn't know whether I should do a tutorial where I gave you the visuals of actually making it. I thought that was a little bit silly for the simple syrup, just because simple syrup is like you just add hot water to sugar and that's it, and it wouldn't be the most entertaining visual. I understand that the raspberry syrup is a little bit harder to make and might be a little bit more confusing. So if you guys want me to do an actual tutorial where we shoot the process of making this syrup or making these syrups, just let me know in the comments below this video, and I will shoot that video, no problem, just so that you're totally clear on how to make the syrup right. And that's it for my spiel. I also want to let you guys know that we launched a Patreon page. You can find us at patreon.com/theeducatedbarfly. We also have theeducatedbarfly.com, where I've been posting weekly blog posts. We have our own t-shirt line, which this is not actually, but we do have our own t-shirt line at drinkmerch.com. And please hit subscribe if you really like this video. I thank you a lot, and I'll see you next time.